And we're
back
on the show.
We just had a great episode of Talk It Out with Terrell Blair. Wow. And and Lamont Daigle.
Yeah.
I said it right.
It's been good so far. Now we're hitting the home stretch, and we got DJ Despair joining us here.
Hi,
How
DJ Despair.
Great. Do you want to introduce our guest that we got coming on right now?
For those of you who don't know, we got a West Coast legend, the legendary Kokane, who's worked with many artists. I don't want to take away from him. I just want him to introduce himself on that level. But here is my brother, the legendary Kokane, the hook master.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Oh, he can't hear us. But we can apparently.
Take him off mute. Yeah.
No. He's
unmute yourself.
Maybe. No. Yeah.
I can hear you.
I don't know. He can't hear us.
He's there. He's here now.
So,
how you doing? Bless up. Yes, sir.
Can you hear us? Great.
Wow.
I'm doing all fine.
How are you?
In paradise. We here. We blessed.
And where are you? You're in California?
Washington. Yeah, I'm up in Washington, Tacoma, Washington.
Wow.
Yes,
that's
very close
to Canada.
So, I think it's only a couple hours. You know what I mean? So it's cool. I love it up here, man. It was a good chance to, academic wise, to raise my kids and put them in college, and we did good up here, man. So shout out to the great Northwest. Big ups to Canada.
Oh, great.
We're the North. I had to
do it, man.
Right? You know the hat he's wearing right now. He's so happy LA won. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh, Lakers.
You already know. You know what I'm saying? Like Showtime is back, and they did an incredible job. Lakers now. All we need is our LA Dodgers to win, and we good.
Wow.
But since you live in Washington now, what about all those great Seattle teams? How do you feel about?
I mean, Seahawks got an incredible team. You know what I mean? I got some homeboys that play for the Seahawks. So, but I'm from the soil where it's Royal, California, so I'm always be a Raider fan. You know what I mean? So, but Seattle got a great team. They doing good. And hopefully, my Raiders can pick up the pace. Yep.
Wow. And Kokane. You gotta ask us how did you come up with your name, Kokane?
Well, it was given to me. It was given to me by my cousin Code 187, who come from a rap group, a prolific rap group that is called Above the Law, who was signed with Eazy-E, and I was signed with Eazy-E. And my cousin Code 187 gave me a name in the beginning of 1989, and he wanted to, identify with my style because I do so many styles. I could sound like Rick James, I could sound like George Clinton, as well as being an MC. So he said, "Man, you need to call yourself Kokane." But we didn't want it to spell it like the original name to advocate selling drugs. So we turned it around and spell it Kokane.
Mm-hmm.
That means when you listen to Cocane's funk, you're gonna get hooked. So it was that type of hip hop cliche, for the name, so to speak, and it stuck with me, man. How dope of a name to have the dopest name in the world, which is the legendary Kokane. So it did me good, man. Kokane. We didn't, a lot of times the radio didn't want to play my name. This was back in the early '90s, is because certain laws didn't allow to say Kokane. But the good thing about Eazy-E, rest in peace, Eazy-E, is that it wasn't no secret to controversy. He let us be us. I mean, people wouldn't say NWA, and the name he's saying, Nil with attitude, but he kept going because it's about the artistry, and that was a good thing, man. Being that I came from the Ruthless soil, which is the mecca of a lot of things, Years later, Death Row came out of there. It's a lot of things that spawned out of that one ruthless tree. And that's where I started my humble surroundings with the legendary Eazy-E, rest in peace, at Ruthless Records.
So are you from LA originally? Is that
Well, I was actually born in South Bronx, New York. But my mom moved out there because it was cold. And my dad was an established writer. He worked for Motown. You know, he helped create the Funk Brothers. He was the orchestration director, arranger, producer, writer. Some of his works include Just My Imagination, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, Four Tops. His name is Jerry B. Long, and the B stands for Buddy. I'm Jerry Buddy Long Jr. So you kind of say music has always been in my DNA. And, you know, we had the best of both worlds growing up in the 70s, listening to, you know, some of my dad's work and listening to the explosion of funk, hip hop. You know, it was incredible, man. It was like a big pot of gumbo. And I used to try to emulate the Parliament sound and Grandmaster Flash and all them way back then. And it's ironic that those things would be PowerPoint to my creation. And years later, pound for pound, Kokane is considered the most featured recording artist ever out of any genre of music, over 4,000 features. And that's been in the game for over 30 plus years, just every year grinding it out, hooking up with overseas cats, hooking up with cats out here. Well, I don't care if you was from Japan, you was from France, you was from the Caribbean, anybody that for the last 30 years, I was blessed. I choose my words carefully. I was blessed enough to touch so many great artists, from A-list artists to B-list artists. So we still out here putting the funky music together. And even the cat that produced this new single y'all about to play and I'm about to perform, it's called Monkey Wasn't Funky. He's actually from France. His name is Mo Fox. So, you know, it's wherever good music is, ain't no substitution for it. If it's good, it's good, and it's going to hit the globe. And I'm just appreciating you guys put me on, because it's really all about tapping into the culture, connecting with each other, and being one big family.
Okay, great. Now we do have we definitely want to play that new song, right? We got I'm So Hood.
I love it.
Ready to go, and she loves it. But then
DBoss has been going crazy over the video.
I love it. I love the old school. I like the funk. I played it this morning.
Yeah. But yeah, funk not only moves. Yeah, like Uncle George Clinton said it. Funk not only moves, it can remove. And it just feels good, man. We're doing this $1,000 dance contest, right? And it feels good to have a fun record that not only our generation can get into, but the kids can get into, because in my humble opinion, the authenticity of good music is with live instrumentation, music theory. And it is good that we can introduce that back into the system to where the kids can understand, you know, how important our ancestors was, and the Marvin Gayes and you know, Curtis Mayfields, and jazz artists like Thelonious Monk, and hip hop artists like Grandmaster Flash. You know, when we had those music, it helped life a lot better. And nowadays music, you know, we're getting back to that, because for a while it became a gossip orientated as opposed to the authenticity of artistry and good music. And it just feels good that we could take advantage, while everybody was hibernating on this coronavirus, to actually see the youngsters go back in time and really let it hit their soul, man. So it's right on time. You know what I mean? Because the music we had, I don't care if you was going through your worst ghettos, your worst times, you can put on a Marvin Gaye, what's going on. You can put on a Tina Marie. You can put on all these type of great records that helped us, you know, while we're going through it. And that's what we want to articulate again, to perpetuate a balance in our music. It's, you know, it's not about just, say, the Lung Foundation. Like, you can have all forms of music, but growing up from the era that we came from, we were privileged to hear a balance. You can hear a sexual healing record, then you can, like I said, hear a Marvin Gaye record. And it's the timing, in my humble opinion, is very impeccable. I know me and DJ Despair have been mixing it up, and we've been talking about this moment. And I think it's the season and the right reason to do what we're doing now with the funk.
But you know, Kokane, back in the day with the old school and stuff, you really had to know how to dance, and people had to really put their effort into knowing how to dance. It's not just today where people just jumping around, moving around. You really had to dance, and people were looking at you if you didn't know how to dance properly. And they used to judge you. Maybe you didn't know, but they used to judge you on Montreal is to see how close you were with your partner, if how you guys danced together. So
Right.
that's how you knew if you were together or not.
Yeah, those times is very important. It was like when you go to a dance back growing up in the 80s, 90s, and even some of the early 2000s, it was very tribal, so to speak, to ask somebody, would you like to dance? And then you hear your favorite song, and it makes you move. I believe those type of things are definitely from the universe, man, because it's all about being in the rhythm. You know what I mean? And that's what soul and funk music do. When it feeds your spirit, it allows you to get into a rhythm. People don't know how powerful music really is. It can either influence you to kill, build, or any other things if you hear, or something repetitive. And, we got out of that for a little bit, you know what I mean? And that was due to, it's pros and cons to the internet. That was just, it made people have access that you don't need to be talented no more. All you need to do is throw on some auto-tune, talk about some drugs, talk about a lane, and boom, everybody's going viral. And I think, some of the digital world kind of stifled the, some of the authenticity of what it takes to be a well-rounded artist. And see, we getting back to that, man. Shout out to all the dancers. That's what's going on with this Monkey Wasn't Funky dance, $1,000 dance contest, because I wanted to give something back. We cannot put enough emphasis on giving back to the fans and the DJs and the radio personnel, because that go hand in hand. And with the culture, you know what I mean? That's what made us. When you seen all those old school hip hop New York cats from, doing what they're doing with the breakers and the Groovachons and all that type of stuff, and you see the cool boys out here doing what he doing, man, that was our culture. And when corporate came in, it kind of stifled the culture. When the digital part, it stifled the analog and the warmness. But now the good thing about it, the universe is mobilizing that right back around again. And it's a beautiful thing, man, because, it's something about soul and funk music and all those great artists prior to myself and you guys self, man, that if it wasn't because of them, man, we'd have lost our mind a long time ago.
Well, we want to hear, we just want to take a brief moment, and we just want to hear I'm So Hood, and then we can come back a little bit more with the legendary Kokane.
I'm so hood.
I'm so hood right now.
Gangsters and rhymes that's pushing their lane. Don't fuck with no snitches, don't fuck with no lame. These niggas be acting like they from a gang. Talk all that shit, but back down from a fade. I'ma always keep it G when I'm on these streets. Stay about my cheese. Oh no, I'ma always back my steel. Always keep it real. So fuck how you feel. So good than before. Got you on my soul. Put it in before, got you on more. You cannot turn a hoe into a wife. You claim that you got hoes, but not about that life. And niggas be acting like they got some stripes, but gangsters they pull up when it's on side. You know you hit your mark on Jellystone Park. You ain't never had no heart. Get rolled up off the yard, but try to act so hard. And you know I'll pull your car. Put it in before, got you on up so put it in before, got you on more. Yeah. Still riding lolos, big body photos, flock letters written on the bottom of the photo. I look up in the sky when I strike a G pose. I'm a local nigga stepping in my Romeo. In the backyard, boogie full of hood rats, and my niggas on the side of the house shooting craps. I'm wetter than a motherfucker. Stumbled to the car, took off and start burning rubber. I'm so hood, I'm so grimy. Khaki shooter fitted with the fresh cut shiny. West Coast G stay giving it up. I make a bitch nigga leave like he's sitting in Starbucks. Shout out to all the hoods that keep the shit gangsters. Niggas that walk yard, pull shanks to shank ya. I ain't never been a square. I'm from Pomona, California, not Delaware. Put it in before, got you on up so put it in before, got you on more.
All right.
Wow. I tell you, I feel like partying right now. and who wants and who wants to ask a question about something?
What? I do? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. What's that drink you're drinking there? That old English stuff?
Oh, no, this is
we had a girl in our office
Arrowhead.
that a couple weeks ago.
Water. Keep your live juice.
You. Not that drink.
Oh, you talking about the video? That was a song off my last album, Finger Roll, which is available. That's called I'm So Hood. And it's just basically taking it back to, you know, when you slap dominoes, play, you know, it just took it back, you know what I mean? With the OG can of OGO English, you know, that's a West Coast type of thing.
He never had it. He never had it.
I'm going to have to go and try that stuff.
Oh, man, that's poison kind of, but that's poison of beers right there, the old English. But, you know, it was definitely something to identify from where we come from. You know what I mean?
So right now, Kokane, a lot of people don't know you have a lot of projects coming up, and you have the competition, the singles dropping, the videos dropping next month. Funky Monkey has started a dance craze around the world, and you've had guys like Pete Rock and MC8 shouting you out. Tell people how deep you are in the industry. Like you are the OG of funk.
Yeah, well, you know, I learned it best, man, you know, from my peers from Parliament, Funkadelic, Uncle Willie Hutch, Curtis Mayfield, Barry White, Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, Grandmaster Flash, African Bambaataa, all those incredible artists out there, you know, is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing to this day. You know what I mean? And like I said, I started off doing music because it was embedded in my DNA. But then hooking up with Eazy-E changed the dynamics of my career. And it was hard because Eazy-E was our West Coast Russell Simmons. You know, he took a blueprint that Ice-T did called 6 in the Morning, which was considered a gangster rap record, which we didn't call it gangster rap. We call it a street music, reality record. But he was able to take that and assimilate four incredible, you know, group people together, from Dre to Ren to Ice Cube to Yella, and do something what nobody wasn't expecting. You know, putting out records like DLC, even putting out pop records like JJ Fad, because a lot of people don't put emphasis on JJ Fad, because if it wasn't no JJ Fad record, it wouldn't have opened up the doors for Straight Outta Compton and Ruthless. So, you know, being there, Easy gave us a chance of a lifetime to just do us, what section we come from, which is called Pomona, California. And he being from Compton, he always thought outside the box. You can look at cats like Bone Thugs and Harmony, who created, you know, and a lot of hits, you know, after they came. So when I was there in 1990, Eazy-E had got one of the biggest deals ever in the game coming from the West Coast. It was with Epic Records. It was Above the Law, Kokane, and a group called Poor, Broke, and Lonely. And we were supposed to come out under the name Kokane because we changed it around. We didn't call ourselves Coca-Cola, who actually used to put cocaine in their products and never changed the name. No, we called ourselves Kokane, Kokane. You know, and anyway, if you add one more E on it, it's Kokane beer. You know what I mean? But they wasn't having that. So they turned around, Epic Records at that time, because they were so scared of the name Kokane. They turned it around and called me Who Am I? And when a lot of people went through the doors, they was looking for Kokane because they heard this incredible artist that Easy signed. This was word on the streets, but they wasn't having it. And that started a lot of doors being closed for me as far as being on the radio. But Easy was pissed off. Jerry Heller was pissed off. My crew was pissed off because we was under the impression we was coming out of cocaine. So that kind of stifled me. But then, you know, doors closed can either make you or break you. And inadvertently, it made me, it pushed me more harder. And Easy was like, you know, even though we can't use the name, I want you to get on all these things. And Cole 187 said, I want you to get on all these things. And it's a funny story because I had a chance with Dr. Dre to do my album too, right? But Cole 187 was like spearheading the production. And I remember a couple songs Dr. Dre did for me. And also I remember the song that he shot, him and Ruthless Records, Eazy-E shot a record that Cole 187 actually did the demo on production, but Dre put his mix on there, and we shot that to Michael Jackson because it was a Billie Jean beat. We were going to be the first people, you know, to use a rapper to actually use Michael Jackson, because at the same time, I was label mates with Michael Jackson. Well, Michael Jackson turned around and said, man, I heard of cocaine. I know his father, you know, but Michael Jackson was gangster. He said, okay, Dre, Easy, in order for, you know, me to clear this sample for cocaine, I'm going to need at least 5 to 6 beats from Dr. Dre, but you're not able to get the publishing. Dr. Dre turned it down. You see what I'm saying? So Cole 187 mostly spearheaded it. But Dr. Dre was adamant on cocaine like Eazy-E and said, man, you know, they tripping on your name. Mike kind of tripped out and didn't want to do the song. We reflip, but I need you on the Niggas for Life album. So I introduced the character called Sweet Talk. And Sweet Talk was like, well, I'll write y'all across the USC Compton watch. They don't be known to walk through the shadow of real niggas. So it was me and Above the Law on the intro for Niggas for Life. And that really started a trend as far as rapping and singing to start doing hooks, you know, and people used to cater to my style. Like, man, cocaine, you so different. Get on this, get on this. So after you know, NWA did real good, Above the Law, I just kept going at it. And a lot of people start requesting it. And through the years, it started being more and more. And the crazy part of it, when Eazy-E died, that was our lifeline to everything. And I'm gonna tell you a testimony. A lot of assets got frozen, and it was just crazy at the time. It was real dark point in my life because, you know, here it is, a Brother Law NWA put me on, and the guy that was like my big bro to the game, he passed a complication of AIDS. So 9 times out of 10, because the monies was frozen, you know, everybody coming after Which Way But Loose after the money from Rufus Records. I used to just go to the studio, man, because I was passionate about music. And at that time, I had 3 children. You know, shout out to my twins, Naj, Taj, and Anissa. With my wife, shout out to my queen, Alicia. And I had to put food on the table. I didn't want to go backwards and get myself in trouble and sell some dope again and all that goofy stuff. So I would go to studios, and whether it be an E40, Too Short, even George Duke or Stanley Clark, you know what I mean? I would sing, and for some reason they'd be like, man, I'm using it. You're different. All the time. It was always the different part that got accepted by great artists out there, even A-list artists and B-list artists. So I kept that going through the years and just, you know, I looked up 23 years, well, actually 25 years later, and my wife said, baby, she said, stop, hold on. I know you like doing what you're doing, but do you know how many features you did? I was like, I didn't think that. I don't know. She was like, baby, it's up in the thousands. I was like, huh? So I was like, you playing. But her and my team actually factually got all that documented. And it took around 2 years to get it done. But when it happened, man, it blew me away, man. And it was humbling at the same time because, number one, I always want to leave a legacy for my beautiful family and fans. When I'm long gone, you know what I'm saying, 40, 50 years from now, God will it, you know, my music will be around forever because I was able to touch more people in a selfless way, you know, that years later is so humbling, and the mystique is so big that a lot of people just don't know the voice behind the face. They don't know that I didn't mess with Jay Dilla, I didn't mess with George Clinton, Cameo, Parliament, George Duke, Stanley Clark, Puffy, Busta Rhymes, Too Short, Dr. Dre, E40, just so many, man, that it'll take us weeks to try to explain. But, you know, trying to sum it up in a nutshell, it's a blessing for me, man, that I can use all this, you know, being the most featured artist, the testimony, coming from that rich musical royalty from my pops, being under the guidelines of Rufus Records and Above the Law, that it's a blessing that I could use this as a catalyst for my own daughter, because now she's 25 years old and the baton is handed down. And me and my wife been together for 36 years and we got 8 kids. 8 kids by that one woman, 4 boys and 4 girls. So it makes me feel like now I'm in the position to really just leave a legacy for my family and inspire a whole generation, you know, 30-something years ago, making professional records. And it's a beautiful time, man. God is real good. I'm a firm believer of God. He makes things happen. And hooking up with cats like DJ Despair, who we've been mixing it up for a minute. It's just good people is in my corner now. And I thank the universe for turning everything around. And like I have my daughter coming out. Her name is Anissa Long, aka Young Colombiana. Beautiful, articulative, got her vision together. And it allowed me to empower my daughters, not just my sons, but I'm real adamant about empowering the ladies, and preferably my daughters, because it's not enough empowerment when it comes to women. You know what I'm saying? And God set me down and blessed me with a beautiful family. And now my daughter's coming out, got a song called F-Boy Signs. And I'd be like, forget me. It's about you, baby girl. So that's why I get up. Me and my wife, we work hard, we campaign, We treat people how we want to be treated. You know, a lot of people come up to me and say, man, you're not hard to talk to, Kokane. You don't need a bunch of red tape to get to. Because at the same time, you know, a lot of people say I'm on a superstar status with Mistake. But the real superstar out there is the fans. The real superstar people is out there is the one that break your records. Take their 86,400 seconds in a day to think about you. Them are the real stars out there, you know, in my family. So I'm just happy to be a steward, but at the same time a leader. And we, you know, I can't say much more. You know what I mean? That's basically trying to sum it up in 15 minutes.
Well, I want to ask you. You've done so much in you can't say a little time. It's just in a span of time, and I just want to know, Kokane, what can people expect, or what do you want to do that you haven't done?
A lot of people used to say my calling is a preacher, but it's too much to be a preacher. And I'm not a hypocrite, you know what I'm saying? So God is working on me, but you know, more of a preacher. I consider myself an elder and a teacher. You know, that is the biggest thing that you can do. One soul is measured not what you do for yourself, but what you can really do for others. And once you get a powerful platform, you know what I mean, it's for you to inspire others. You know what I mean? It's bigger than just an artist or a legend. And what I could tell some of the upcoming cats out there is that you got to have tunnel vision in anything you want to do. Even in nature, and I'm going to tell you something real funny. Nature exposes the right things to do because technically only one sperm cell get to the egg out of 100 million. You know what I'm saying? So using that particular scenario, it's like, you know, the game is small. Everybody ain't going to make it. But if you feel like you're blessed with a gift, then you got to endure the patient part. You got to do your homework. You got to know how to protect yourself, register your music properly, because you do yourself, you don't give yourself enough justice by just always coming out fast instead of coming out right. So my thing is, it's cool to have quantity, but quality and being strategic is way more better than quantity. It's about learning again. So sometimes you got to put the blunt down for a second. Tell your homeboys I ain't tripping. I got to get up on this computer. I got to read tutorials. I got to get involved. And number one, if you want anything in life and you feel like you deserve it, you got to be patient with yourself. You got to stop looking at other things. Look at things from your peripheral, but the more you look straight ahead, things from your peripheral disappear. You know what I mean? So, you know, I encourage all upcoming artists to have your own uniqueness, you know, but most importantly, you got to learn the business aspect because the creative side is easy, but you want to be economically dependent, learning about certain things to protect yourself and how to actually make a lucrative business out of it.
Mm. All right. So I'm just curious, you know, we've got this whole COVID thing going on. I'm just curious how that's affected your work, and I'm curious about any thoughts you have about what this whole COVID thing's all about, or what, you know, how are we going to get out? How are we going to get through all this?
Well, I think it's the COVID is part of biblical, you know, and even for those atheists out there, you know what I mean? There's certain things that is happening on the earth, but at the same time, you know, there's pros and cons in life in anything. And how this COVID virus affected us is that it made us more in tune as a family, made us more in tune to God. You know, there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, families that are suffering, lost their homes, lost their job, lost their loved ones. So it's definitely congruent to what I was telling you. It's biblical, you know, but at the same time, you know, what don't kill you will make you stronger. You know, it's about being wise. and I encourage everybody to be wise, because that's something that we had to modify. We can't just go here and go there. We have to be more careful. You know what I mean? But most importantly, we stay prayed up, because it's deeper than it just giving people 50 feet or 6 feet. It's airborne. Things are in the food. Things are, there's like a Tuskegee experiment virtually going on with this COVID virus, man. And the governments are not telling you. So you have to go back and do research again. Go to your Dr. Sebi's. Go to your different holistic doctors. Compare notes and different other things. And just don't buy anything, any products that are online without reading comments and reading different things, because people are not going to tell you. The information is out there, but what a man or woman think is what you sow. So when you put it in your mind, the universe is going to bring it to you. It's about putting those health foods back into the body, because that's what we need. Food has become GMO. Some music has become GMO. We just got to put our natural thing back in our bodies.
Listen, guys, it's been a great conversation. We got 10 seconds left, literally. Say what you need to say in 5 seconds.
Monkey was a funky $1,000 dance contest sweeping the world. Drops December the 4th. DJ the Spray and Kokane. Caribbean lunch. Let's go.
All right. Thank you.